So, if everyone's ready, then the mage hand knocks. Jocelyn and Ibolth, who are standing right at the door, you think you can hear the sound of an internal door open. And then you hear a male voice. Hello? From inside. Hello, who's there?
Hello. My name is Jocelyn of Olivano. Do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
Are you real?
Last time I checked I was, but I can understand in this place why you may be distrusting of that.
You hear some footsteps getting closer. And then a voice right up against the door. Is it just you? Is it just you? Are there more? How did you find this place?
There are 5 of us in number. We were each summoned here about half an hour ago, and we have been walking through the misted forest ever since. We came across this house, and we wish to know who lives in it. I repeat my question, who can I say that I'm speaking with?
You hear, from the inside, you hear like a heavy object being dragged. And then you see and hear the door handle turning.
Take a step back, and I've dropped my spear so that I'm not like obviously offensive in stance when he comes out, but I've still got my shield in front of me.
I'm definitely gripping my warhammer tightly, but have it lowered down by my side.
Okay, the door opens, and in front of you stands an elderly human gentleman. Probably, well, I say elderly, like kind of probably in his 50s or 60s, maybe. He is wearing trousers and a shirt, and you can see the chain of an amulet around his neck that's tucked into his shirt, and he has greying hair and glasses. And he kind of pushes his glasses up and looks at you and goes, "You better come inside. It's not good to stay outside in the dark in this place. Come."
Right you are, sir.
Can we hear if he's sincere? Because this is all very creepy.
Make an insight check. Yep, so Elaine definitely... Yeah, Elaine, he seems genuine.
I walk forward onto the threshold of his house, but mainly just to block everybody else from getting in before I'm ready. And then I say, "Excuse me, sir. May I have your name, please?"
Oh, yes, of course. Do excuse my manners. I am Rudolf van Richten.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Van Richten. And then I step inside.
Okay, the foyer of the house, it looks obviously like it's been lost to time. The rug on the floor is threadbare and rotted. There is a staircase leading up to the second floor, and you can actually see up on the left-hand side, there's a balcony overlooking this foyer. There's a closet wardrobe type thing on the left-hand wall, and in the center and just at the top end of the rug there is a marble pedestal, and on top is a bronze sculpture of an eagle. Yeah, the ceiling is about 20 feet high in this area, and everything's just covered in dust and cobwebs, and the only thing you can see is obviously some fresh tracks through the dust where Van Richten has obviously been in here.
You live here alone, sir?
Oh, no, this is not my house. I too was traveling through the mists and came upon this place, and I'm trying to investigate what happened here. But please,
I see.
if you come through this way, there's rather an interesting room.
I turn to Elaine and say, "Could you close the door?"
Sure. She pulls the door closed, and she kind of puts her foot out to tinker with the rug on the floor and check if it's as ugly as it seems, or if it's good to step on.
It seems okay to step on. It's just
Old.
looks a bit just old and disgusting.
Yeah, she
Sorry.
kind of distorts her face.
Yes.
Did you receive a letter?
No, I did not.
How did you come across this place?
Well, why don't we come in here first? Yes, you're looking at me suspiciously. I know this is all very, very confusing, and you're not used to these types of places, but he kind of stands to one side and he points at a particular spot on the door, and you can see that there are some like religious symbols. There are quite a few obvious ones that most of you will recognize as some of the more well-known goodly gods, especially the image of a star representing Lathander, the god of light, the god of the morning, the god of the dawn. If you'll make a religion check.
Ooh.
Everybody?
Yeah,
I think
if you want to.
I think all my rolls have gotten steadily worse.
Oh, Rob's
And now I'm
rolls are
sub
still
5.
invisible.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
whispering them to the GM.
So Carrie, Ebolth, Elaine. You also recognise the symbol of a god called Ezra, who is another goodly deity, like a protector deity. And Van Richten explains this room here is magically and ritually protected. Whatever happened to this house, whatever lurks in this house, this room, and he points behind him, is the only safe room. It has been sanctified. It has been hallowed.
Have you been incapable of getting into that room then?
Oh no, I've been setting up a lot of my research equipment in there. I'm just
Oh, I see.
showing you this
Research?
just so hopefully you can trust me a little better, and maybe we can all help each other.
What kind of research?
I am a supernatural investigator of sorts.
Seems like the right place to be researching. Well, please, sir, lead the way. I gesture through to the room.
He opens the door and goes inside.
I stay off of the rug. I walk around the outside and then I sort of awkwardly squeeze through behind the bronze eagle. And then I walk into the room as well.
Okay, this is quite a nice looking room, despite the signs of age. There's loads of portraits hung on the wall around, although they've faded a lot over time. The fireplace has been recently lit, and there's a nice kind of warmth and ambient glow from it. It's kind of like the first time in hours that you can actually feel like you can relax a little bit. It feels like this room is safe. if anyone does have any sort of religious inclination, you feel like the gods are protecting you here. You feel like something or some power is blessing this room against evil.
Do I feel watched in here?
No.
The
Elaine
first
just
time in a long
flumps
time.
into a chair.
Your eyes are also all drawn to something in the center of the table, which looks like this.
Oh. Carrie, your thingy you found earlier?
Yes, Carrie's going to reach into her pouch and pull out the little planchard and look at it while looking at the table, and then offer it up to anyone.
Van
Yeah,
Richten goes,
Elaine just...
where on earth did you find that? I've been searching around for something like that for ever since I got here.
How long have you been here for?
Well, I arrived here yesterday. You can see all over the table as well is strewn like a load of notebooks and research books, magnifying glasses, parchment, ink, quills, and just almost like covering the spirit board itself. Like he's just like a disorganized mess of him just researching. Yes, I arrived here yesterday. I admit I haven't really looked around very far. I noticed the board. The board was already here when I got here. It seemed that someone who lived here before was heavily into the occult, and so all these symbols that protect this room, this halo effect, and the spirit board were all here when I got here. And I was hoping to potentially find a way of communicating with the spirits of this house. You see, there are many rumours. The family that bought this land and built this house on the old ruins of the castle that once stood were lost. No one knows what happened to them, and I thought it would be interesting to find what the mystery of that was.
You don't happen to have a name for these people, do you?
Yes. So when the castle was ruined and fell to disrepair, the Halvrest family came along and bought the land and built this place on top, and they lived here with their children for a number of years.
Yes, a girl and a boy, I believe.
I'm not sure. I've according to some of the portraits, I've seen the names, but the pictures themselves are very, very faded. But yes, there was the husband and wife, 2 children, and from what I can gather, a handful of servants as well. But one day, suddenly all contact was lost, supposedly, and the family were never heard from again. Even this place was lost. And now, I don't know how much you know about other planes and extra dimensions and that kind of thing, but it was believed that this house itself fell into some other plane of existence and has been lost for all this time until, well, lost travellers happen upon it. And then also are never heard from again.
Carrie's just going to say, charming.
Just one amendment to what I heard there, is that I don't believe lost travellers happen upon this house. I believe this is where the travellers are exactly destined to be. This is our destination after all, is it not? And I take out my letter and say, is this not the perfect description of a House of Lament?
You handing him the note?
I'm just sort of I'm getting it out and sort of showing
okay.
it to him.
So you were told about this place? You weren't just lost in the woods and came here, you actually...
No. We were brought here. We were sent these letters.
Invited here.
Invited here.
Okay, he kind of like peeks over his glasses and kind of like squints and reads the note.
Yeah, I walk forward and place it on the table here.
You place it next to the cards because Elaine has, while he was talking, has gotten out her cards and laying a few of them right on the carving image, whatever it was, on the table. And you see that the cards have the same symbols on them. And so she says, this is no coincidence that we are here.
That is very, very interesting indeed. Do you know who it was that sent these letters, these notes?
They're unsigned.
They are not handwritten. Or perhaps the first one was, but it has been copied by magic. We were all given an exact copy of the same note. The only part that differs is the map at the bottom from where we awoke this morning to where we found ourselves in the woods. Mr. von Richten, perhaps you're familiar with a raven-like man. We met a creature of human size who left behind this a pile of these feathers when he flew off.
Yes. I said I'm a supernatural investigator. I travel these lands, these planes that exist outside of where you came from. The mist separates them, but every now and again, at the whim of the powers that control each plane, certain people are able to traverse the mist. And this house, so the rumors say, only comes into being once every so often. It is not at a determined time, it is completely random, but it does reveal itself, and there is some sort of darkness here that needs exorcising. Perhaps, and from what I know of these ravens, although they may appear sinister, they are in fact a force for the greater good.
I see. Well, let's hope so.
Sorry, I said, what card? I can't see it clearly. Is that the Executioner on
Yes,
top?
it is.
Okay.
Carrie's going to listen to all this and kind of half listen. She's sitting down at the table and she's trying to think if she can remember anything else from the Halvris family that she recalled earlier.
Okay, just with Elaine for a second. With the Executioner card on top, as you look down on it, you suddenly start to hear... It's like the spirits in your head, except it's not your spirits, it's other spirits, like spirits from the house. You don't feel threatened, you don't feel scared, you feel like this room is protecting you, but you do hear them in your mind. And you can hear screaming, and you can hear protesting. Someone screaming, "No, no, no! Don't put me in here! Don't bury me! I'm sorry! I'm sorry!" And you get this kind of visual sensation of being somewhere very, very cramped and very, very dark, and the light fading and fading and fading as the area in front of you is being blocked and blocked and blocked, like you're almost being buried alive.
Oh no. Guys, there's something very dark happening in here, or maybe happened. I'm not sure. I just had some kind of vision of a person, I think, buried alive, but I can't really tell when this happened.
You have
Or will it
visions like
happen?
this a lot?
Yeah, common thing.
Carrie, trying to like think back on the house. The house is not as you remember it. It's like the layout has completely changed. But there is still a sense of familiarity. You look around at the portraits on the wall, and although they're very, very faded, some of them do jog your memory slightly. You can see the mother and the father, and you can see the children, and you get the names Reagan and Vastian in your head as the names of the children.
Okay. Is it a child that you're hearing, or is it an adult, Elaine?
This sounded more like an adult, right?
Yeah, sounded more adult, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Carrie will just kind of slump in her chair with a relieved look on her face.
These visions you have, are they usually premonitions of the future, visions of the past, or some other?
Well,
Is this something
mostly
that could be happening now?
I don't think so. I get told stuff by the spirit, so mostly actually from dead people. But
I see.
sometimes I can get a glimpse in the future, not that clear, though.
Sounds like your spirits are more helpful than mine.
Well, we arranged ourselves together, and she points to the cards on the table, and I got some help with them.
Jocelyn's...
Okay,
Go on.
I was just going to get up and inspect the rest of the room.
You can see that there's two other doors, one on the right and one on the left. They both have similar holy symbols kind of painted on or carved into them. Other than portraits on the wall, the mantelpiece, the mirror, and what's on the table, that's pretty much it.
Jocelyn is warming herself by the fire, and reveling in the fact that when the 5 people in the room aren't looking at her, she's not being watched for the first time in her living memory. She sort of turns absent-mindedly to the hearth, and it's almost like when you've walked into a room that you're super familiar with, and the furniture's changed somehow, and you don't immediately know what's different, but you can recognize that there's something different. When she turns, she thinks there's something different about the mantelpiece. She's never seen this mantelpiece before. But she realizes after a few seconds it's because normally there would be tiny little rodents or insects or something just sitting there or watching, or they would be on the walls. There'd be something around in invisible vision at all times watching her, and she can't see any insects. She turns back to the group and they're all kind of looking at things on the table, and she just doesn't feel like whatever it is watching her anymore. But that reminds her, or makes her think of a question, so she walks forward and says, "Excuse my ignorance, but if I'm right in understanding that this wee board here is designed for speaking with spirits, how are they to communicate to us in a room that's well protected against such spirits?"
It seems that friendly spirits can't get through this barrier of the kind that's around here. So hopefully we only get positive answers.
I see.
And I believe we are able
It's
to communicate with them, but safely, so they would not be able to harm us.
I see. And as she gets this answer, she looks past Ebolth here in the doorway and out the open doorway into the foyer, where she sees like a couple of like scurrying critters move past, and then like there's like a bit of a shadow along the floor that seems to almost whiffed up off the floor and kind of back, and she realizes, yep, they're still watching after all, just not from inside the room. Right. And then seeing that, she kind of steps over into the corner to sort of limit the view of her from the next room over.
Well, so Van Richten says, well, I've had a little bit of, I say, experience with these spirit boards. I have read of how they are used. I think now that we have what seems to be the matching planchette device to go with it, that perhaps it would be probably worth having a pop at trying to communicate with what dwells in the house at some point. Of course, if you wish to have a look around first, that is up to you, or...
You said that you got here yesterday?
Yes.
Have you had a chance to explore?
Not really. I am here by myself. I wanted to try and arm myself with as much knowledge as possible of what I would potentially be facing before I ventured any further in. But now that we have this, that will help us greatly.
Well, let us help you clear the table.
Oh,
I mean,
yes,
some of the
course.
books that you've brought with you, I've only heard of. I've wanted to borrow them, but I've not had a chance. This one, in particular.
Of course, yes. Feel free to peruse them any time you have a chance to. Yes, excuse the mess. And he starts kind of like putting pieces of parchment together and like kind of stacking them and moving them to one side and.
I'll step forward and help.
Turning the corners of the books to mark his pages and then closing the books.
Sir, no. No.
Carrie's
Hey,
not
boss.
sure how spirits work, so she's just going to shut this door, just in case leaving it open lets them come in.
Yeah, I was literally just about to ask somebody to shut that door.
I guess we
And
make
then
like a tidy pile of all his crap over in like one of the corners.
And she then plonks the planchette on the table.
Nope. Okay, Van Richten says, right. If whoever wants to participate, please take a seat around the table. Perhaps it is best if we do not toy with things we don't understand.
Yeah, it's toying.
We must all breathe deeply, try and clear our minds. Focus on this place, focus on this house, think upon what we know so far. We know that there was a castle here before, that the Halvrest family came and built the house that we now sit in. We know that there was a mother and a father and 2 children, and we know that them and the house itself disappeared, and no one knows what happened. Perhaps the spirits of the mother and father and children are still here. Perhaps the spirits of those that were before are still here. We don't know if they are in pain, if they are at peace, if they are vengeful. But be safe in the knowledge that the enchantments placed upon this room means that those spirits, while we are here, cannot harm us. If you wish to participate, put your fingertips of one hand lightly on the planchette, and he places it in the center. And he says, please bear in mind, I have never actually done this before. This is all going to be trial and error, but we'll see what happens. He closes his eyes and takes a deep breath. Are both of you just standing guard at the door? Cool. He looks around, his eyes flickering to the corners of the room. Greetings to the house. My name is Rudolph van Richten, and I mean no harm. Myself and my new friends here, we just wish to say hello. Is there anyone there? Nothing seems to happen for a few seconds, and then suddenly the light of the fire in the mantle just kind of like just flickers briefly, as if it's been disturbed by a breeze or something. Is that a sign? Is that a sign? Is there someone there? Is there someone present that we can talk to? Hope everyone's got their Roll20 unmuted. If there is someone there, please. We are friends here. We mean you no harm. Please come to us and show us on the board if you are here and willing to talk. Van Richten kind of takes a deep breath quite quickly, like, as if, okay, that worked. He kind of looks around to each of you to check that no one's fiddling with it.
Elaine just shrugs her shoulders and so what's the special thing about that?
Good. Thank you, Spirit, for letting your presence be known. Now, may I ask if you would be so kind as to tell us your name? Then it pauses in the middle.
Mara.
Van Richten says, Mara, that rings a bell. Mara. Yes, I will need to check my research books when we're done, but Mara definitely rings a bell. Mara, if there's anything we can do to help this place, we know that the place is at ill rest. We know that the spirits here are unhappy, and that there is a malevolent power here. Would you like us to help you fix it? Excellent. We're making very good progress here. Right. You know this place better than us. Give us a sign, or give us a instruction. How can we help you? How can we help to free this place of this dark power? It's moving quicker and quicker. Oh no, sorry, that was supposed to be an L. Ah! No, that is an L. No. L. So K-I-L. L.
You need to kidgle.
Kidgle.
Then there's a pause. This is more difficult to do on Roll20 than in real life.
Fill the chimney.
Fill chimney.
Sweep. Fill the chimney sweep. Dick Van Dyke. Kill the chimney witch. Kill the chimney witch.
Very well.
Goodbye. I immediately turn around to look at the hearth.
Van Richten shouts, thank you for your presence. Okay, we will try and kill the what now?
Chimney witch. And I am glad that it was an M and not an L, because I thought it was going to say kill the children. Or kill the child.
That's what I thought too.
He goes, right, Mara.
And then over, and I was like, oh god, did she just go over the L and onto the M? Oh no.
He grabs one of his books and he starts looking through some of his notes, and he goes, Mara. Right, yes. So before this place was bought up by the Halvrist family, well, long before that, maybe a few centuries before that, the castle that stood here before was owned by the Silvra family. And Mara was one of the knights of that family. The legend says that she went off to fight in a campaign, and when she returned, this dreadlord had taken over the castle and over her land, and she confronted him, and she died protecting her castle and her family name. So it seems like her spirit still lingers here.
Seems so. Now, the question is, how many chimneys has this place got? And does it mean the chimney of this, or does it mean more metaphorically the old stone tower outside?
If it was from when Mara was alive, it would make sense that it's not the new part of this building.
No. It makes sense that she's referring to the part that used to be a castle.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to make our way into that part of the castle and look for a witch.
Hello there.
Mara? Mara, have you been the one who was walled in?
Van Richten seems to have lost the connection. Like the planchette was going wild, moving very quickly for a moment, and then it very quickly snapped down to the farewell. And any sort of presence that was felt is just gone.
Carrie just kind of slumps at the table and is relieved that no children came through.
I go to leave and say, all right, let's go to the tower.
In Dwarvish, and under my breath, I say, "You alright, Ebolf?
Yeah, let's go. Come on.
Are you okay?"
I answer you in common. Just brush it off.
I continue on out. No time like the present. We're here for a reason. Let's get that reason underway.
Van
Sitting
Richten
inside
says
and
to you...
gets up.
Sorry, go on. Okay. Van Richten says to you, I will be staying here and making some more notes, seeing if I can find out any more through the histories of exactly what happened with the Silver family. But if you need anything, I'm not a cleric, I'm not a priest, but I do have some powers to be able to heal or sanctify and remove curses and some very simple conjurations like that. So if there's any emergency, I will be here. I will not be leaving this room.
Carrie's going to pop back in and ask if he knows anything about chimney witches that might help.
Here, have my How to Defeat a Chimney Witch book.
Yeah, totally.
He
Step by step guide.
He ponders for a moment, but he's like, it's not something I've ever heard of before. I assume it's one of the lingering spirits of the house, perhaps. I have no idea, to be honest.
Okay. Useful information. She's going to just toddle on back out.
As I stepped out to follow Ebolf, there was this sense that I was walking past just like a bunch of people who were just like standing just behind the doorway, and as I step out, I feel like, oh shit, they're all watching me again, and I sort of just, in spite of myself, I kind of flinch to look over my shoulder, but the shadows on the wall kind of move with me as I look, and they kind of like staying behind me at all times, but I can tell that they're all there now, and they're watching again. And I sort of like shiver involuntarily and keep stepping forwards.
Carrie will ask, "You alright, love?"
Hey, I'm fine, dear. Just a little cold is all. Stepping away from that fire, you suddenly feel the benefit of being inside, don't you? I avoid the carpet as I walk down, following Ebolf. So, let's find that tower, shall we?